So today is Bhishma Stuti. Prayers. We just finished Kunti Stuti. You all loved Kunti Stuti? Very nice.
Very nice, Prabhu.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
You should all contest that. You have to cram that.
Have to buy heart.
Yes. Then it will be very even more sweeter. Okay. See, all of these things we will be studying even more detail later. Bhagavatam can we study? We study in Bhagavatam actually in the temple one shloka a day. All we do is only one shloka. Word meaning, discuss all the explanations, go deep application to our life. But what I'm doing now, just like Gita summary study, this is Bhagavata summary study. But Bhagavata, I don't have much worries. I can go for a few months because huge. Bhagavatam is very huge. Shivan Bhagavatam, at least the first canto I'll do with you. That I guarantee. The first canto has 19 chapters. So we are now 9, at least 10 more sessions are straight away there. After that, we will see. Great soul assembled at the front of Bhishma. Okay, this is famous painting of Bhishma. You know that he was very thirsty and Arjuna gave him water mystically. Suta Vacha, Sut Goswami said, being afraid of having killed so many subjects in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Maharaj Yudhishthira went to the scene of massacre. There Bhishma was lying on the bed of arrows about to pass away. So now Krishna's will, Bhishma is going to instruct Yudhishthira on the subject occupation duties. Bhishma will also offer his last prayers to the Lord on the verge of passing away from the world and become liberated from mental engagement. Bhishma had a power to leave the body at his will. That was benediction of his father. And when Bhishma was about to leave the body, all the great people came assembled there throughout the universe to show their feelings of love, respect and affection for the great soul. How nice it is to leave a body like this, isn't it? Whole world comes to offer you respect. Correct? Normally, gaya ye chalo, hai na? But Bhishma, they are feeling great. Live a life of virtues, all people come to respect you. At that time, his brothers also followed him on beautiful chariots drawn by first-class horses decorated with gold ornament, because now they are the emperors. They are the kings now. They came well decorated. They won the war. They come to meet Bhishma after that. With them was Vyasa and rishis like Dhaumya, the learned priests of the Pandavas and others. O sage among the Brahmana, Lord Shri Krishna, the personality Godhead, also followed, seated on the chariot with Arjuna. Many people have an idea. If you are wealthy, there is no God, particularly when they see opulent temples of ISKCON. So why you need opulent temples? All so commercialized. No, sir. Yudhishthira was very rich. Yudhishthira was very rich. And still, Krishna was sitting with him, with Arjuna. So it's not that God is only for poor people. We should not be attached to the wealth. We should use the wealth for Krishna's service. There is nothing wrong with wealth. Not that I'm chanting Hare Krishna, so I have to live in a hut and I have to be poor. No. You have your wealth, use it for Krishna. You have a beautiful house, use it for Krishna's sake. Make it into a temple. Invite people, hold kirtans, normal time, not in pandemic time. Thus King Yudhishthira appeared very aristocratic like Kuvera surrounded by his companion in the Goyakas. Lord Krishna wanted the Pandavas to be present before Bhishma Deva in the most aristocrated order so that he might be pleased to see them happy at the time of death. Kuvera is the richest of all the demigod here. King Yudhishthira appeared like him on the procession along with Sri Krishna was quite appropriate for the royalty of King Yudhishthira. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is looking very opulent like Kuvera. Krishna is happy to see his devotees. Seeing him, Bhishma lying on the ground like a demigod fallen from the sky, it looks as if, some Devata is so effulgent, even though he's lying on the bed. The Pandavas, the King Yudhishthira, along with the younger brothers and the Lord Krishna, bowed down before him. Even Krishna bowed down. Krishna always follows etiquette of the world. So he's bowing down. He does all his role perfectly. Lord Krishna was also the younger cousin of Maharaj Yudhishthira as well as the intimate friend of Arjuna, but all the family members of the Pandavas knew Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord, although conscious of his supreme position, always behaved in the human custom, so he also bowed down before the dying Bhishma Deva, as if he were one of the younger brothers of King Yudhishthira. Just to see the chief of the descendants of King Bharata, Bhishma, all the great souls in the universe, namely the rishis among the demigods, Brahmanas, the king, all such in the mode of good assembled there. So all kind of rishis came, Brahmarshi, Rajarshi, Devarshi, everybody came there. The rishis are those who attain perfection by spiritual achievement. Such spiritual achievement can be earned by all, whether one is a king or a mendicant. Bhishma Deva himself was one of the Brahmarshis and all the chief of the descendants of King Bharata. All the rishis are situated in the quality of goodness, and all of them are assembled there on hearing of the news of great warriors impending death. Srimad Bhagavatam. All the sages like Parvata Muni, Narada, Dhaumya, Vyasa, incarnation of God, Brihadashva, Bharadwaja, Parashurama, disciple, and his disciples, Vashishta, Indrapramada, Trita, Grismada, Asita, Kakshivan, Gautama, Kaushika, Sudarshan are present. And many others like Shukdev Goswami, the purified souls, Kashyapa, Angirasa, and others, all accompanied by their respected disciples, arrived there. Bhishma Deva, who was the best among the 8 Vasus, received and welcomed all the great powerful rishis were assembled there, for he perfectly knew all the religious principles according to time and place. So what he can do in this situation, he cannot, when some guest comes, you have to receive him, you have to bow down to him. But Bhishma Deva can do nothing. His eyes is, so except for the eyes and mouth, everything is locked. His hands can't move, his legs can't move, he's lying on a deathbed, but still with proper words, sweet smiles, with gestures, with our eyes, he welcomed everybody, even though he was in that difficult position. He was certainly unable at the time to receive them physically because he neither at home nor in a healthy condition. But he was quite fit by the activity of sound mind, therefore to utter sweet words with hearty expression, and all of them were well received. See, even in this condition, his behavior is perfect. This is called a great man. Lord Shri Krishna is situated in everyone's heart, yet he manifests his transcendental form by internal potency. Thus, very Lord was sitting before Bhishma Deva, and since Bhishma Deva knew of his glories, he worshipped him duly. Bhishma Deva gave special respect to Krishna, even though he respected everybody. He knows who is Krishna. The son of Maharaj Pandu was sitting silently nearby, overtaken with affection for their dying grandfather. Seeing this, Bhishma congratulated them with feeling. There were tears of ecstasy in his eyes, and he was overwhelmed by love and affection for the Pandavas. When the Maharaj Pandu died, all his sons were all small children. Naturally, they were brought up under the affection of elderly members of the royal family, especially by Bhishma Deva. Pandavas were cheated by the cunning Duryodhana and the company, and Bhishma Deva, although he knew the Pandavas were innocent and were unnecessarily put in trouble, could not take the side of the Pandavas for political reasons. At the last stage of his life, Bhishma Deva saw his most exalted grandson, headed by Maharaj Yudhishthira, sitting very gently at his side. The great warrior grandfather could not check his loving tears, which were automatically flowing from his eyes. He remembered the great tribulation suffered by his most pious grandson. Certainly, he was most satisfied man, because Yudhishthira being enthroned in place of Duryodhana, and thus he began to congratulate them. Bhishma Deva said, "Oh, what terrible suffering and what terrible injustice you good souls suffer for being the sons of religion personified. You did not deserve to remain alive under those tribulations, yet you are protected by the Brahmanas, God and religion. Vipra dharma achyuta ashayaha. This should be the principle of life. What is the principle of life? Vipra dharma achyuta ashaya. We should always be guided by Vipras, Brahmanas, qualified Brahmanas, Dharma, the religion, and Achyuta, the Lord. If somebody is guided by these three, his life is perfect. So Pandavas always are guided by these three, therefore, beautiful life. Vipra dharma achyuta ashaya. Maharaj Yudhishthira was disturbed with the great massacre in the battle of Kurukshetra. Bhishma could understand this, and therefore he spoke first of the terrible suffering of Maharaj Yudhishthira. So Yudhishthira Maharaj was feeling, why so many people died for him, and he actually refused to rule. Krishna tried to convince him, he didn't agree. He actually almost broke down, like Arjuna broke down before the war. Yudhishthira broke down after the war. Then Krishna took him to Veda Vyasa. He also instructed him. He did not. Now Bhishma is knowing the whole situation, and Krishna knows he is so great. He wants to glorify him. So he brought him to Bhishma, and Bhishma is going to do something which Krishna himself could not personally do. What is that? By Krishna's arrangement, he could not do. What is that? Convince him to rule. Okay. Yudhishthira was disturbed due to the great massacre in the battle of Kurukshetra. Bhishma could understand, therefore he spoke first of the terrible sufferings of Maharaj Yudhishthira. Why the war was there. He was put in difficulty by injustice only. The battle of Kurukshetra was fought just to counteract this injustice. Therefore, he should not regret the great massacre. He wanted to point out particularly they were always protected by the Brahmana, the Lord, and the religious principle. As long as they are protected by these three important items, no one the cause of disappointment. Thus, Bhishma they were encouraged Maharaj Yudhishthira to dissipate his despondency. As long as the person is fully in cooperation with the wishes of the Lord, guided by bona fide Brahmana, the Vaishnava strictly follows religious principle, or has no cause for despondency. Bhishma, as one of the authorities in the line, wanted to impress this point upon the Pandavas. As far as my daughter-in-law Kunti is concerned, upon the great general Pandu's death, she became a widow with many children, and therefore she suffered greatly. And when you are grown up, she suffered a great deal also because of your actions. He's talking about suffering of his daughter-in-law. That's a grand, good heart. How much she suffered. I saw her suffering. She became widow, that was the suffering, and then grown up because of so many things happened to them. She suffered so much. I'm sorry for the font color here. I don't know how it will become. The suffering of Kunti Devi are doubly lamented. She suffered greatly because early widowhood and to get a minor children brought up in the royal family. When the children are grown up, she continued to suffer because of some action. Her suffering continued. This means that she was destined to suffer a providence and one has to tolerate without being disturbed. Srimad Bhagavatam, first instruction of Bhishma to Yudhishthira, inevitable kala, time. Sarvam kalam kritam manye bhavatam chayat apriyam sapalo yat vashe loko vayor iva ghana valihi. In my opinion, this is all due to inevitable time. Under whose control everyone in every planet is carried just as the clouds are carried by the wind. So he's talking about Kala controlling everything. No grudge against Kala. There is control of time all over. Supreme Kala, forceful representation of the Lord, is within the material world. Even the most pious has to suffer the conditions of material nature. The three guiding principles, Lord Krishna, Vaishnavas, and the Brahmanas, should be always there. One should not grudge being controlled. Just take it. No grudge against Kala. Don't hit your head against the wall. Accept. You try your best not to get injured. You get injured. That's what Kala. Not that you walk in the middle of the road. Yatta dharma shuto raja gadapanir vikrodaraha Krishno astri gandivam chapam suhit Krishna sato vipa. How wonderful is the influence of inevitable time. It is irreversible. Otherwise, how can they reverse the presence of King Yudhishthira, son of demigod controlling religion? Bhima, the great fighter with the club, and the great woman Arjuna with his mighty weapon Gandiva, and above all, the Lord personally with them, the well-wisher of the Pandavas. So he's saying, how can it be possible? Yatra dharma suto raja, and Arjuna with the mighty weapon Gandiva, and above all the Lord, the direct well-wisher of the Pandavas. He said, with all these things together, still so much suffering. He's thinking of the grandsons their whole life. They're all, Yudhishthira is more than 100-year-old, Arjuna is around 90-year-old. They have lived a life of suffering. He's conscious of that. So actually the suffering of Pandavas is not real suffering in one sense, because devotee actually never suffers. He's always happy. In any situation he's happy. He's spiritually very happy. But materially, if you see, they suffered so much. If you're Kala, the inexplicable will of the Lord. There was no scarcity in case of Pandavas, as material and spiritual resources required. Pandavas suffered so many practical reverses which can only be explained due to influence of Kala, the inevitable time. Kala is like an impersonal manifestation of the Lord. It just acts. Personal manifestation, impersonal manifestation of the Lord. The Kala is identical with the Lord Himself, and therefore the influence of Kala indicates the inexplicable wish of the Lord Himself. There is nothing to be lamented when matter is beyond the control of any human being. Nothing to be lamented. So they had all the resources. Arjuna is so powerful, Bhima is so powerful, Yudhishthira is such a knowledgeable person, but still so many difficulties. So Kala is identical. We accept the will of the Kala. Kala is nothing but wish of the Lord. Therefore, if somebody accepts that everything coming is mercy of Krishna, we're discussing the morning class today, he lives and always in Vaikuntha. Always. Whatever happens is the will of Krishna. It could have been better. If I'm sincerely chanting Hare Krishna, I read Shastra, things could have been better. But whatever happens is the will of the Lord. Person should be very happy in any situation. Visham Purna Sukhayate. Every time he is living in Vaikuntha. Nayasya karhe chedrajan puman veda yudhishchitam yad vijingnas nasaya yukta mohiyanti kavayo apihi. O king, no one can know the plan of the Lord Shri Krishna, even though the great philosophers inquire about it. He's trying to convince Yudhishthira Maharaj about what has happened to him. He said, no one can know the plan of Lord Shri Krishna, even though great philosophers inquire exhaustively. They are bewildered. Very difficult to know exactly. Just like today also the pandemic situation. Very difficult to know why Krishna has sanctioned it, what is his plan. We can get some hints, but exhaustively you cannot know. But principle, you know. Principle is that Krishna is trying to bring all living entities back to the spiritual world. That is one point, purpose of creation, to reform people, take them back to the spiritual world. And second thing Krishna tries to is give the facilities for independent enjoyment. These two things go on always parallelly. So, in that principle, we can get some idea. But detail, exactly what was being next thing happening, none of us know. What is the plan next tomorrow, what will happen?
People will review. If we know, people will review about that.
People will be?
In queue, they'll come.
Yes. Since time immemorial, no one could ascertain the plan of the Lord. The suffering of the Pandavas are never due to their past deeds. This is also interesting. Now, generally when we suffer for a papa karma, not great people. Like Prahlad Maharaj, not that he did some papa karma to be everyday attempt to kill him. No. Prahlad Maharaj was suffering because of something else. What was that? He was suffering because of Krishna's arrangement. That is special. Special. Now, Pandavas are not suffering because of their papa karma. They are pure. They are suffering because of arrangement of the Lord. So, Krishna sometimes arranges a difficult position actually to glorify his devotees. Not that they have to suffer. They have to suffer because of some papa there. No. This is Krishna wants to glorify. Look, here are my devotees. Even though they went to so much difficulty, they always remembered me. Even Srila Prabhupada's life was practically nothing happened for 44 years. 26 years he got the order from his guru, and the movement started at 70 years. Still peacefully is trying to do. Correct. So no one can ascertain the plan of the Lord. Suffering the Pandava never due to the past means. Bhishma are certainly satisfied with seeing the trump of the virtue. Wise cannot conquer virtue regardless of who tries to execute it. Tasmadidam deva tantram vyavasya bharata shava tasyanu anata natapahi praja prabhu. Oh, best among the descendants of King of Bharata. See how nice it is. He knows he's a great personality. He's not just flattering him. I maintain, therefore, that all is within the plan of the Lord, accepting the inconceivable plan of the Lord. You must follow it. You are now appointed administrative head, and my Lord, you should not take care of those subjects who are now rendered helpless. Yudhishthira was refusing to rule, and he said, what are you doing? People are helpless. There is no ruler, no king, and you want to not accept responsibility. Everything happened. Your life was so tough, and Mahabharata, so many people. All this is the plan of the Lord. Sanctioned plan of the Lord. There is no point crying over past. It's all sanctioned by the Lord. Over. Why you are just sitting disappointed? Actually, anybody sad means he is in Maya. Simple principle. Anybody sad means he is in Maya. Correct? Everybody should be happy all the time. That is my calculation. Why? Huh?
Jolly.
Every time we should be jolly. Why? He's done some mistake or what? You go to say the boss in office. What the boss will feel? क्या गलती हो गया भाई मेरे से? Why you are feeling so sad? What did I do so much? So there is no reason to be sad. All the time, Krishna is in control. We should be smiling. Vishram Purna. Sad means he is in Maya. He is in illusion. The popular saying is that housewife teaches the daughter-in-law by teaching of the daughter. You know this story, no? Suppose बहू को डांटना है वो तो सुनेंगे नहीं तो बेटी को डांट देते तो समझ नहीं आता ये गलत है क्यों करती है तो उसको आंसर आ जाता है होता है ना it's true. So the same way Krishna by making the devotees go to the tribulation have a lot of lesson for public. Krishna uses, but the devotees do they feel the pain? No. They are on spiritual platform. Material condition do not affect them. Like Prahlad Maharaj every day attempt to kill him. He just to glorify Prahlad Maharaj. Look, here is my devotee. Dekho bhai, mere bhakt ko dekho. But is that Prahlad Maharaj undergoes pain? No. He's a total spiritual platform. He never scared.
Guruji, what do you mean by saying that a housewife teaches the daughter-in-law by teaching the daughter? I don't get it.
Because you have not seen what is the daughter-in-law. You know what is the daughter-in-law? Bahu.
Yeah, bahu, right?
ठीक है. So हिंदी समझ आता है. तो माँ बहू को बेटी को डांटती है, बहू को नहीं. है? इतना मिठाई को खाता है तेरे को समझ नहीं आता? इतना मिठाई क्यों खाती है? मोटी हो जाएगी भैंस की तरह. So she is scolding the daughter, but daughter-in-law is hearing because she can't scold daughter-in-law because she will get upset. है ना? You got it now?
Oh, okay.
She is scolding the daughter, but lesson is for daughter-in-law. खा के मोटी होगी भैंस की तरह. She is telling the daughter, but actually message is for daughter. In North India, when girl marries, she is like this, thin like this. After marriage, they become like this. You have seen that? They'll become fat like this. So she wants to scold the daughter-in-law. इतना क्यों खाती है भैंस की तरह? But she will scold the daughter. So daughter-in-law is hearing. Actually, message is for her. So Krishna also sometimes puts devotees in tribulation, but the message is for the public. See, look at him. Look at the Pandavas. They never ask Krishna. Krishna, we're your friends, no? Why you are suffering so much? Shri Radha Govinda ki. फायदा क्या आपका friend बन के, है ना? They never asked. That's the devotee. Shri Radha Govinda ki. The devotee does not have to learn anything new from the Lord because the Lord teaches sincerity devotee always from within. The devotee's duty is ungrudgingly accept tribulation from the Lord as benediction. Not easy. Accept all tribulations as the benediction. Krishna is in control. Bhishma's advice to the king. See what has happened? This has changed. Nowadays the PPT they're all 16 by 9 and they were originally 3 by 4. So therefore I have to do this. The purity of the Lord accept the tribulation as favors of the Lord. Pandavas were advised by Bhishma to accept the responsibility administrating without hesitation. The pure subjects are without protection due to the battle of Kurukshetra, the awaiting the assumption of power by Maharaj Yudhishthira. Next section. Krishna puts the devotees into trouble. This Krishna is no other than the inconceivable original personality of God. Esha vai Bhagavan Sakshat. साक्षात भगवान है भाई ये आदमी. इसको आप क्या सोच रहे हो? आपका दोस्त है क्या? आद्यो नारायण अपमान. नारायण है नारायण. मोहयन माया या लोकान. अपनी माया से हम सबको मोहित कर दिया. Bewildering us by Maya. Gudas charati Vishnushu. This Sri Krishna is no other than inconceivable original personality Godhead. He is the first Narayana, the supreme enjoyer. He is moving amongst the descent of King Vishnu, just like one of us. And is bewildering us by self-created energies. Totally humko is bewildering. The Vedic system of acquiring knowledge is a deductive process. So Prabhupada is saying here now authority is speaking. Bhishma is one of the 12 Mahajanas mentioned by Yamaraj in Bhagavatam. Yamaraj says these are the 12 authorities and one of the name is Bhishma. So when Bhishma speaks, you have to hear carefully. The mother is the authority to verify identity. The father, she is the authority by a confidential knowledge. The authority is not dogmatic. So in Vedic knowledge, we accept authorities. The Bhishma Deva is one of the 12 Mahajanas. That Krishna is the first Narayana is also confirmed in the Bhagavatam 10:14:14. Krishna is the first Narayana. The first form of the Lord Shri Krishna. Okay, this is a big list. Chalo, continue. O King, Lord Shiva, Narada, the great sage among demigods. Kapila, the incarnation of Godhead. All know very confidential of the glories through direct contact. In fact, Krishna was born. At that time, Shiva also come to take darshan. There is a beautiful pastime in Vrindavan. There is a temple also for that. The Shiva, he goes to in a dress, and what happens? Mother Yashoda looks at him at the door, all disheveled and all. He's in a sage's dress. She gets scared, and firstly she had, and then finally she gets darshan of Krishna. Is very happy. So all the sages, Narada, Shiva, everything great, all Kapila, they all know very confidential glories to direct contact. The purity of the Lord are all Buddhas, a person who knows the glories of the Lord in different transcendental services. These are the 12 authorities mentioned in Bhagavatam. Brahma, Narada, Shiva, Kumara, Kapila, Manu, Prahlada, Bhishma, Janaka, Shukadeva, Goswami, Bali Maharaj, Yamaraj. Vishnu, one of them is only has mentioned only 3 important names of the 12 who know the glories of the Lord. O king, that personality whom out of ignorance only you thought to be your material cousin, your very dear friend, well-wisher, counselor, messenger, benedictor, is that very personality Godhead Shri Krishna. O king, that personality. So out of ignorance you thought Yudhishthira Maharaj, Bhishma to be one of you. No. He did all the services for you. He was sometimes acting for Pandavas as a friend, sometimes as a well-wisher, sometimes counselor. He even went as a messenger of Yudhishthira for peace offer, benefactor. Actually, the personality Godhead Shri Krishna is Supreme Lord. Krishna's position is always absolute. Okay? So he did so many services for them. So out of his causeless mercy and favor upon his unalloyed devotee, performs all kind of service, but that does not mean he has changed his position as the absolute person. Always remains the absolute person, even though he may do. Prabhupada says we should not think him like an ordinary man. It's a great ignorance. Being the absolute personality, Godhead is present in everyone's heart, is equally kind to everyone, and he is free from the false ego of differentiation. Therefore, whatever he does is free from mental inhibition. He is equibalanced. Next section, worship the Lord devotee is more valuable. Yet despite his being equal to everyone, he has graciously come before me while ending my life, for I am his unflinching servitor. Having unflinching faith, Supreme Lord, Absolute Personality Godhead, all the equal to everyone, is still more inclined to his unflinching devotees, completely surrenders and no one else as the protector or master. Having unflinching faith, the Supreme Lord as one protector, friend and master, the natural condition of eternal life. A living entity so made by the will of the Almighty that is most happy and placing himself in the condition of absolute dependence. One must draw towards the Lord in all circumstances. Therefore, the cause of attraction was due to intimate relation to the soul. So Prabhupada is saying one must be attracted to the Lord in all situations. So we should become totally happy. A living entity is so made by the will of the Almighty. It's a very interesting line. He becomes most happy and placing himself in the condition of absolute dependence on the Lord. And I'll just read. So appearance of the Lord Krishna on the deathbed of Bhishma Ji was due to his being unflinching devotee to the Lord. Arjuna had some bodily relation to the Krishna because Lord happened to be his material cousin. There was a relationship. Subhadra was married. But Bhishma had no such bodily relation. The cause of attraction was due to intimate relation of the soul. Very nice, very special. The best way to establish our relation of transcendental sweetness is to approach him through his recognized devotees. One should not try to establish the relation directly. There must be a wise medium who is transparent and competent to lead us to the right path. So, interesting things. The personality got it. Okay, you all got this point?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can you please elaborate on the last 3 lines, just which you read just now? The best way to establish our
See what
relation.
happens in the spiritual world, Krishna is not alone. He is surrounded by his devotees. Many times we meditate on only Krishna, but that's not correct. Always meditate on Krishna with some devotee. Radha Krishna is the best, or Arjun Krishna, Yashoda Krishna, but not alone. Krishna is never alone. He's always with his devotees. Nobody likes to be alone, and Krishna definitely never keeps himself alone. Something is there. You see, in ISKCON painting, we don't make Krishna alone. At least peacock Krishna, parrot Krishna, something is there. And Krishna is having humor, pleasure in relationship with him. Okay? That is the way. So always you should go to the Lord with the devotees. You should not try to go to the Lord directly. Dasa dasanu, dasa dasanu, dasa dasanu, dasa. Servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. Gopi bhartur padkamalayur dasa dasanu, dasa. Always servant of the servant, servant of the Lord. Okay? That is the way to approach the Lord. There should be some via media. Okay? Makes sense?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Just like for us, Acharya himself has become the via media. He's being a transparent media. Prabhupada's purport we are reading. The personality Godhead who appears in the mind of the devotee by attentive devotion, meditation, by chanting the holy name, release the devotee from the bondage of fruitive activity at the time of his quitting the material body. So Krishna personally comes. At the time of quitting the body, Krishna personally helps him. But there has to be some sadhana whole life. Prabhupada, the devotion service to the Lord does not kill the natural desires of the living being, but they apply to the right cause of the devotion service. It's not that we become desireless, but we desire to serve the Lord. In general, Bhishma Deva, Prabhupada is saying is a general, commander, general, was a different particular yoga called Bhakti Yoga, and was fortunate enough to have the Lord directly in his presence before he quitted the metal body. He therefore desired that the Lord stay before his view in the following verses. Okay, so if you want to go to the spiritual world, our desires have to change. Today we have a desire for sense gratification, but instead desires should be to serve the Lord. May the Lord, now he is offering, Sadeva Devo Bhagavan Pratikshata Kalevaram Yavadidam Hinoni Aham Prasannaha Saruna Lochana Lasam Lochanolasa Mukhamujo Dhyana Pathas Chaturbhujaha. May our Lord, who is four-handed and whose beautifully decorated lotus feet with eyes as red as the riding sun is smiling, kindly await me at the moment when I quit this metal body. Bhishma is a devotee of Narayana, so he is requesting Lord Krishna to show his Narayana feature now. And Shuk Krishna will now take the Narayana feature. So everybody has an eternal position in the spiritual world, some relationship to one feature of the Lord. Somebody the Ram Bhakta, somebody the Narasimha Bhakta, some feature of the Supreme Lord. And we should take that. Therefore, he is asking for his Lord to come in Narayana. But Vaishnava is always humble in his behavior. Although it was 10% certain the Bhishma approaching the Vaikuntha Dhama just after leaving in metal body, still as a humble Vaishnava, he desired to see the beautiful face of the Lord. For after quitting the present body, he might not be in the position to see the Lord anymore. That is the attitude. My Lord, I may not be able to see you anymore. Today I see you before my death. Please stay here. So Prabhupada says it was guaranteed. Bhishma lived such a pure, exalted life. He will be in the presence of the Lord, but still, out of humility. The only desire that the pure devotee entertains that he may always be in rapt attention while thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord, regardless. Bhishma wanted this much only. His mind being absorbed in thinking of the Lord, that he passed away. That is the highest ambition of a pure devotee. Highest ambition of a pure devotee. What is that? That at the time of his death, he can, with rapt attention, he can think of the lotus feet of the Lord. क्या चाहिए? कुछ चाहिए वरदान? हाँ, मैं आपके बारे में ध्यान कर सकता हूँ. I can meditate on you at the point of his death. That's all he wants. That's the highest ambition of a pure devotee. So look at his humility. Even though it is guaranteed, such a great personality, Krishna has personally come. Where is the doubt that he will be in the spiritual world and eternally serve the Lord? There is no doubt. But still he is saying, please, can I see you for some more time? as if I will not be able to see you after the Prabhupada. That is always the nature. Devotee is always humble. Suta Goswami said, Maharaj Yudhishthira, after hearing Bhishma speak and then appealing to and asked him in the presence of all the great rishis were essential principles of various religious duties. Yes, Hare Krishna. Okay, I continue. Ask him in the presence of all the great about the essential principles of various religious duties. He wants to take instruction from Bhishma how to rule. It's an important point. Lord devotee like Bhishma, although apparently living as a worldly man, is far superior to many sages, even Vyasadeva. Look at his position. Lord Shri Krishna wanted to prove that his pure devotees are always sound in body and mind by dint of spiritual enlightenment. And thus, in any circumstance, the devotee of the Lord is in perfect order to speak in the right way of life. This is all due to the arrangement. Yudhishthira also preferred to solve the property question by asking Bhishma rather than asking anyone present here, was seemingly more learned than Bhishma Deva. This is all due to the arrangement of the great wheel carrier Lord Krishna, who establishes the glories of his devotee. Our father likes to see his son become more famous than himself. The Lord declares very emphatically the worship of devotee is more valuable than worship of himself. So Yudhishthira, in presence of all the great sages, asking Bhishma, because Krishna wants now Bhishma to be glorified. He wants everybody to know how great Bhishma is. So Krishna arranges situation for devotees to be worshipped and glorified. Canto 1, Chapter 9, text 26. As Maharaj Yudhishthira inquired, Bhishma first defined all the classification, castes and orders of life in terms of individual qualification. Then he systematically twofold division described counteraction, detachment, interaction, attachment. It's a beautiful purport here. The conception of the four castes and orders of life as planned by the Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita is to accelerate transcendental quality of the individual person so that he may gradually rise to spiritual identity that act according to get free from mental bondage or conditioned life. So it's not that these Varnashrama is by caste. No, it is a principle of cooperation where quickly everybody progresses and he can cooperate with other people in serving the Lord. That's all. It is not meant for ostracizing somebody. It is not meant for exploitation. What later it became caste system. Original is Varnashrama. Everybody is comfortable in a particular position and service according to psychophysical situation. Correct? That is how it is. In almost all Purana subject matter described with the same spirit, so in the Mahabharata, that more elaborate explanation of Bhishma and Shanti Parva beginning from the 16th chapter. The Varnashrama Dharma is prescribed for the civilized human being just to train him to successfully terminate human life. Self-realized, distinguished the life of the lower species, engage. The Bhishma advice for all human beings 9 qualifications. Prabhupada is telling. This is Prabhupada is taken from the Mahabharata. Number 1, not to become angry. Number 2, not to tell a lie. Number 3, to equally distribute wealth. Number 4, to forgive. Number 5, to beget children only in legitimate wife. Number 6, to be pure in the mind and hygiene in the body. Number 7, not to be inimical towards anyone. Number 8, to be simple. Number 9, to support servants and subordinates. So Bhishma Deva's teachings can be divided into 9, which he elaborately gave in Mahabharata to Yudhishthira. One cannot be called a civilized person without acquiring the above mentioned 9 qualities, the basic qualities. Besides, the Brahmanas, intelligent, administrative, mercantile, laborer must acquire special qualities in terms of occupation duties mentioned. So 9 common for all and then special qualification. For the intelligent man, controlling the senses is more essential qualification. It is the basis of morality for the Brahmanas. Sex indulgence, even for the legitimate wives, must be controlled and therefore family control will automatically follow. Today they say we should have less children. Yeah, control sex desire. Easy. Voluntarily control. An intelligent man abuses his great qualification if it does not follow the Vedic way of life. This means that he must seriously make a study of the Vedic literature, especially Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. For learning Vedic knowledge, one must approach a person who is sent person engaged in devotional service. He must not do things which are forbidden in the Shastra. Person cannot be teacher if he himself drinks or smokes. In the modern system, education teaches academic qualification is taken into consideration without evaluating his moral life. It's a big defect. Therefore, the result of the education is misuse of high intelligence in so many ways. Therefore, we see people. One of the reasons is teachers are also not qualified. The Kshatriya, the members of the administrative class, especially advised to give charity and not to accept charity in any circumstance. A modern administrator raise subscription of political functions, but they never give charity to citizens in any function. Properly, these people are reversed today. It is a reverse in the injunction of the Shastra. Administrative class must be well versed in the Shastra and must not take to the profession of the teachers because they are not able to follow purely. Administrators should not pretend to become non-violent and thereby go to hell. When there is a need, they should punish. Not, non-violence, which was independence time movement, is not part of the Shastra. That is called foolishness. When Arjuna wanted to become a non-violent coward in the battle of Kurukshetra, he was severely chastised by the Lord. The Lord degraded Arjuna at the time as a status of uncivilized man. He said, Anarya Justam, Arjuna, uncivilized person. Administrative class must be personally trained in military education. Cowards should not be elevated to the president's throne by dint of numerical votes only. Monarchs were all chivalrous personalities, and therefore the monarchy should be maintained, provided the monarch is regularly trained in occupation duties of a king. So Prabhupada said monarchy is always better than so-called demon goes crazy, which is Prabhupada used to say democracy. Because so many people involved here. 1 looter, 100 looters. The so-called king today never visits the bad war field only. They don't go. They don't stay there at least. They don't fight in the front. They sit at home and have butter and bread. He was very much expert in artificially encouraging. He is very much expert today, encouraging fighting so strenuous hope of false national prestige. And as soon as the administrative class, it turned into a gang of merchant and laborer men. The whole machinery of the government becomes politics. So Prabhupada's comment now for Kshatriyas, he had comment for Brahmanas. The teachers should have high moral qualities. Kshatriyas should not be scared to use violence when it is needed. And then Vaishya merchants, the merchant class are specially advised to protect the cows. Cow protection means increasing the milk production, namely curd and butter. Agriculture, distribute of food are the primary duties of mercantile community, backed by education, Vedic knowledge, and trained to give in charity. As Kshatriyas are given charge of protecting the citizens, Vaishya are given charge of protecting the animals. Animals are never meant to be killed. Killing animals is a symptom of barbarian society. Yesterday evening, one person was telling me, Swamiji, if animals are not killed, there will be ecological imbalance. चारों तरफ मुर्गी मुर्गी दिखेगी, कुछ नहीं दिखेगा. Not like that, sir. You protect yourself. Don't worry. Nature will take care of yourself. Human society should give more attention to animal protection. For a human being, agriculture, produce, fruits and milk are sufficient compatible foodstuff. The productive energy of the laborer is misused when it is occupied by industrial enterprise. Now properties come to the laborers. All industries. Industry of the various types cannot produce essential needs of man, namely rice, wheat, grains, milk, fruits, and vegetables. The production of machines and machine tools increases the artificial living fashion of a class of vested interest and keeps thousands of men in starvation and unrest. This should not be the standard of civilization. The Shudra class is less intelligent, should have no independence. Shudra means who wants to sleep all the time. Prabhupada says such a man, if he's tamasic, who is drinking, womanizing without control, should not be given so much independence, but is being given today. I remember when I work in Infosys, we were like Shudras only. Get salary, below the salary, one weekend salary is finished. They don't deserve to be given money. Vedic time, Shudra is not given money. He is given maintenance, but not money. Because why? Because Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Brahmanas are Dvijas. They take Diksha and they take a vow that they will not do so many vices. They are meant for rendering some sincere service to the three higher sections of society. The Shudra is not by birth, is by quality again. The Shudra class can attain all comforts of life simply by rendering service to the higher classes, especially enjoying the Shudra should never bank money. Because the moment he has money, it will go to drugs and drinking only. As soon as Shudras accumulate wealth, it will be misused for sinful activities, wine, women, and gambling. Wine, women, and gambling indicate the population is degraded to less than a Shudra quality. The higher class should always look after the maintenance of Shudras and they should provide them with all old and used garments. Give them all facilities, but don't give them so much freedom like today. The Shudra should not leave his master when the master is old and invalid, and master should keep the servant satisfied in all respect. Shudra must first be satisfied by sumptuous food and clothing before any sacrifice performed. In this age, so many functions are held by the spending millions, but the poor laborer is not sufficiently fed or given charity, clothing, etc. The laborers are dissatisfied, so they make agitation. So now Bhishma has talked him something brief about how to take care of different varnas and ashramas. So please we know these are not by birth, these are by quality, by nature. A tamasic man, how he should look after; rajasic man, how he should duty; sattvic man, what are his duties. The varnas are, so to speak, classification of different occupations. The main purpose of ashram dharma is to awaken knowledge and detachment. Household life is for one who is attached. Vanaprastha sannyasa life is for one who is detached from materialistic life. And brahmachari life is specially meant for training both attached and detached. He then explained by division acts of charity, the pragmatic activities of the king, and activities of salvation. Then it described the duties of women devotees both briefly and extensively. A charity is one for the householder. A brahmachari student should perform sacrifice. A householder, charity person, retired life, and a householder should practice penance and austerities. Raj Dharma, he was teaching Yudhishthira Maharaj Raj Dharma. A king is not a lazy, sensuous person living at the cause of subject, but alert to kill thieves and dacoits. That should be the king. A pious king was not merciful to dacoits and thieves in the name of nonsensical ahimsa, non-violence. They should punish them severely, isn't it? You come to know you're a king, somebody looted somebody in the night and that person is in great agony. You should punish the king, the thief severely, not so-called non-violence of today. Thieves and dacoits are never meant for administration as the now. Probably what thieves and dacoits punish, they have become the administrators. Taxation law was simple in the Vedic time. We had to give 25%. 25% of the profit, that's all. No other tax. Not 20 varieties of tax. This tax, that tax, that tax, that tax. Simply pay tax. The reserve energy of humanity was properly utilized. The king had to select properly the cabinet ministers, but not on the strength of voting background. He should select good people. The person who sacrificed everything for disseminating spiritual knowledge was never disregarded. The king will special attention to the illiterate, the helpers, the widows of the state. Give protection to people who need protection. Okay, very interesting. Now we ended this. Because the 9 things, he had told these are qualities. Now it tells how to acquire. To get freedom from anger, one should learn how to forgive. To get freedom from anger, number 1, learn how to forgive. To get free from unlawful desires, one should not make plans. You have illegal desires, stop making illegal plans from your mind. Very easy. By spiritual culture, one is able to conquer sleep. How to conquer sleep? By spiritual culture. You don't waste time. But tolerance, one can conquer desires and avarice. Diseases can be avoided by regulated diet. He said if you have a regulated diet, disease will not disturb you. By self-control, one can be free from false hopes. By money can be saved by avoiding undesirable association. If you have stupid friends, they will spoil your money. So don't have crazy friends. Your money will be secure. Otherwise, they will make you waste. I was remembering recently I'd gone to one doctor. Your next car should at least be Audi. So these kind of friends you should not keep. They will simply spoil your money and time. Hana? They'll disturb a person. Then, kya car hai tere? At least Audi hona chahiye, hai na? They will do like that. And this kind of friends will actually disturb only. Utility is the principle. What is needed we take. But if you have crazy friends, they will disturb you. Very nice. The self-control and free from all. Money can be saved by avoiding undesirable company. Practice of yoga, one can control hunger. Interesting. By worldliness can avoid by culturing knowledge of impermanence. So we are very worldly, so we can understand the world is temporary, so you not be so much samsaric. Okay. Dizziness can be conquered by riding up. Can be conquered by rising up. False argument can be conquered by factual ascertainment. By sharp argument, we can conquer false ascertainment. This is a truth, this is a fact. Talkativeness can be avoided by gravity and silence. Learn to be silent and grave. Prowess can avoid fearfulness by your strength. You can avoid fearfulness. Perfect knowledge can be obtained by self-cultivation. One must be free from lust, anger, avarice, hunger, etc. to actually attain the path of salvation. So this was his instruction, how 9 things we can develop. To get freedom from anger, we should learn how to forgive. To free from unlawful desires, don't make sleep plans. Just like biggest problem, brahmachari thinking about a woman. Don't make a plan to enjoy a woman. Don't make a plan. You decide, I'll not have sex. Just decide, I'll not have sex. Over. No, desire will come only. Because there, maybe I can get married, problem start. I'll not have sex. Over now. You say, I'll not smoke cigarette. Once you decide that, whatever drama I do in front of you, there's no use. I'm not going to smoke. I've decided. Why are you wasting your time? I'll not have sex. Decide, I'll not have sex. Over. Now, no sex desire can disturb you. I'll not have sex. What is the point? Maybe I'll get married one day. Then there is a problem. Then you cannot be free from sex desire. So this by spiritual culture, one is able to conquer sleep. So once you become spiritually advanced, you don't just do sleep. But tolerance, we can conquer desires and avarice. Disturbance from various diseases can control by regulated diets. So if you have regulated diet, you'll not get sick. Eat at the right time, eat sattvic ahara. You'll never fall sick. By self-control, one can be free from false hopes. Money can be saved by avoiding bad company. Good. Practice of yoga, you can control even hunger. Worldliness can be avoided by culturing the knowledge of impermanence. You are so samsaric, so much interested in material thing. Understand life is temporary. Knowledge of impermanence. Dizziness can be controlled by rising up. False argument by conquered or factual ascendment. Talkativeness can be avoided by gravity and silence, like that. Woman is concerned, once accept a power of inspiration for men. Prabhupada is saying, actually, women are more powerful than men. Julius Caesar was controlled by Cleopatra. The powerful women are controlled by shyness. Prabhupada, the shyness is an ornament of a woman. And Prabhupada, the shyness has gone away, they can create a havoc. The last item, we should in the process of pleasing the Lord. We are all eternal servants of the Lord. When you forget the central part of the nature, put it in the material condition of life. Simple process of pleasing the Lord for the householders especially is to install deity of the Lord at home. By concentrating on the deity, one may progressively go on with the daily routine work. Worshipping the deity at home, serving the devotee, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, residing in the holy place and chanting the holy names of the Lord, inexpensive item by which we can please the Lord. Subject matter is explained by the grandfather to the grandchildren. Okay? We continue tomorrow. Some details you'll learn today.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, can you share this material link?
Okay, I'll do that. I'll remember and do. Yes. Other things are already there. Are not there.
Really good instructions of controlling our vices and directing it on the positive side. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. With the Bhishma's instruction. I could have gone faster, but I wanted to learn the detail. Tomorrow we will complete it. Okay?
So this is the right pace, Babuji. You can follow it also easily.
Actually, one shloka is one class, but this is faster, so get you a taste of it. But I think by the time I finish first canto, you'll already develop the taste of Bhagavatam already. Then you'll start reading already without my telling word by word, shloka by shloka. Hare Krishna. Pancha kalpataruvacha kripa sindhube evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnavindaki Srila Prabhupada.
Jai. Hare Krishna.